Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. If it's Tuesday, that can mean only one thing. Duane Long joins us. Duane, how goes it?
The world is brightening up because I just got a good feeling about things.
It has been a roller coaster ride, the likes of which we have never seen before, and the ride has not yet ended. Will today be the day? We have no idea, but I will share the same sentiment that Duane did. At this point, I would be very surprised if there's not a vote for football to return, hopefully October 17th. I believe that will take place. We are waiting for word from the presidents and the powers that be from the Big Ten. Duane, your overall vibe right now, do you think we will have football in the fall?
I think we will. My only fear is that we're not going to, that they could mess around with that November date. That is just a non-starter. It should not, there's no reason to play. There's absolutely no reason to play if what we're going to do is not take the chance. Or if you're not making a run at a championship, what are you doing? It's just a bunch of scrimmages. So that October 17th date, it works, and we can get at least 8 games in, and 8 games should put us at least in a conversation, put us at the table to make the playoff. So that is what I'm looking forward to. That's what's going to make me do a naked jaunt is that saying, yeah, we're going to play and we're going to start on October 17th.
Based on the litany of sources and commenters and part-time journalists that have weighed in on every social media platform that exists, it does appear the Big Ten teams are now trying to work out a resolution where everybody plays. I remain skeptical, but
I remain skeptical too. I'm not certain that everybody's going to weigh in. If you read the comments from the Rutgers president, I just don't see any way they're going to get him to change his mind about playing. And I don't know, maybe they're going to throw some money and say, look, you want this money, then you got to play. You don't get paid for not playing. And I absolutely believe that. Anybody that doesn't want to play, okay, you don't have to play. But you have to accept that you're not getting paid. Fox can take their money back. Beautiful to divide it between those that are playing, but they should not get paid. Absolutely not. If they don't want to play, and they're kids, I think they should be encouraged to transfer. You're not going to. Everybody else is playing. We're not. I don't want to be here anymore. Transfer portal. I would absolutely encourage my son and to transfer out of that situation if they just decide they're not going to play.
I have to believe that's the crux of the matter right now. It's always about the money. When negotiations go on for too long among ivory tower types, it's always about the money. So I imagine now it is schools like you said, Rutgers or others who don't want to play, weighing out the damages financially versus putting their teams on the field and suffering a large ego blow. The other big news is 2 big-time Buckeyes have opted out. Captains Shaun Wade and Wyatt Davis, guys I believe are guaranteed first-round picks, despite some feeling to the contrary. The real question is, if Ohio State decides to return to play in the very, very near future, like literally today or tomorrow, would Wyatt Davis and Shaun Wade reconsider and come back to the fold? What's your vibe on that topic first?
Well, here's the thing that I thought about when I first heard this, is I said, why couldn't they come back? Is there a deadline? Did they sign something? Apparently not. I mean, it's just, I'm going to go pro. Okay, well, why? It just doesn't make any sense. This is a rather new thing, this opting out. Why can't they come back? I've never heard any language that says they can't once they declare that. So why couldn't they, and why wouldn't they? I expect them both to come back. That's we know that's why Shaun Wade stayed around. He was highly likely to be a first rounder last year, but then, he decided to come back because he wanted to get even more experience lining up outside on split ends, big X receivers, and show that film to the NFL, which would have boosted his stock even higher. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, especially. So, come back.
I hope both of them come back. I have not heard anything that would keep them from coming back in terms of a legally binding nature, but we will see. I'm almost at the point now where no matter what happens, I just say, 2020. Let's assume Ohio State is playing, and that just for purposes of this discussion, Wyatt Davis and Shaun Wade can't come back. Let's take a quick look at the depth chart and try and figure out who will be in the mix to replace them, and then how we think it will work out and how it should work out. Starting with Wyatt Davis, obviously, All-American right guard. There was not an All-American or preseason All-American team put out that didn't have Wyatt on it. He's likely to be the first interior lineman picked in the draft. The names we have discussed, Paris Johnson, could they kick in the tackle inside? DeJuan Jones, what will they do with him? Gavin Cupp is the most experienced and a better position fit maybe. Could they move Josh Myers around? What is your vibe on what they will do behind Wyatt Davis?
My thinking is that we're going to see Matthew Jones. I think he's the most obvious guy that, he's an inside guy. We were talking about him playing center, but it looks like Harry Miller's the center of the future. I think Harry Miller's going to be the left guard. I think that Matthew Jones is the odds-on favorite to get the right tackle job or right guard job. I just, you're saying that we could possibly see DeJuan Jones is such a massive kid. You think that putting him in there, it would be, we're talking about how potent the offensive line is going to be this year with Wyatt Davis and Josh Myers side by side. Probably the next most dominating, when you're talking about just being physical, would be moving Jones in there. He's just such a load. So that's another one. Paris Johnson, I just don't think that. I think they're going to want to groom him. Thayer Mumford is going to be, he's a senior. He's going to be gone. I don't think you want your next star left tackle to be playing guard. You want to get him used to handling speed on the edge. You want him in there playing tackle as much as possible. So my thinking is that it won't be him. Another name to think about, I'm just massively impressed with, is Luke Weipler. He is just, I watch this kid play. Man, he's just a talent. I think he's the one guy that's just not getting, we're all enamored of Paris Johnson, and that's logical. But this kid is just underrated. We've got options. I remember it used to frustrate me so bad with Jim Bowman and his small group of guys to work with. But we never had enough linemen. We never had depth. We've got really good depth. There's a lot of names. I mean, there's a lot of young guys coming in. Who knows if one of them's going to step up. We've got some kids here. So let's see what happens. We've got options at least, but my money is on Matthew Jones.
I understand the concern with kicking Paris Johnson inside. Not a natural fit, and you'd be playing him next to Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, so you'd have two guys starting on the right side without any starting experience. It kind of depends now if they're going to go with scheme fit or trying to get their best five players on the field. Let's take a quick break, come back, and talk Shaun Wade's replacement. All right, we are back. I made it very clear one of the reasons I thought Ohio State was a legit big-time championship threat was because Shaun Wade decided to come back. I'm not sure what this means for the defense now. It could be just as good. It could be even better for all we know, but we're going to be into a more unknown territory now for the first time. And literally, as long as I can remember, you're going to have two guys starting at corner with really no starting experience. We've already penciled in 7 banks to one spot. Other spot figures now to come down to Cam Brown and Tyreek Johnson in replacing Shaun Wade. What's your vibe?
Well, Cameron Brown played more than any other defensive back non-starter last year. So I think it's the smart money says Seven Banks and Cameron Brown are going to be our corners. But you still got the massively talented Tyreek Johnson out there, and there seems to be some good vibes coming off of him through camp last year. After the going into the playoff, that he was really starting to come around, realizing responsibilities. You can't just run around the field and make plays like you did in high school. And the other one that I really so much has been talked about is Legend Cavazos. He is just so much talk. Too many people saying this kid is going to be special. And we've got a history of throwing freshmen on the football field. You're going to trial by fire is just expected with Ohio State cornerbacks. You're going to get out there, you get burned, you get burnt. And then we've seen so many of those kids go out there. I've stopped counting how many have come in as a freshman and did go through the school of hard knocks. And they had tough freshman years. And then by the time we were juniors, we're like, well, they're going early. So that's a kid that I think we need to keep an eye on. Outside of that, we need to get some more cornerback talent in here. I think numbers is not the problem. We would like the numbers to be better, but it's not that. It's just I'm looking around and I'm thinking, where's the elite guys? So let's. I think that those are the guys that are going to be in the mix this time. This Banks and Cameron Brown, they've got to be odds on to be the starters, and hopefully Tyreek Johnson comes on, continues his progression, and Legend Cavazos lives up to all the hype that we're hearing about him.
Every out-of-state corner since Bradley Roby to start in the secondary for Ohio State has been a first-round draft pick. Throw in a couple Ohioans who are first-round draft picks, your Marshawn Lattimore's, your Garyon Conleys of the world, and nothing would surprise me this time next year about Seven Banks, Cam Brown, or Tyreek Johnson. I think the sky's the limit. Keep it locked into Bucknuts, Bucknutters. We have no idea when the call will come. We do feel it's going to be a pleasant call, and one we can all rejoice around. Stick with it. Have a good one, Bucknutters.